Okay, and to conclude, another Luma blur, we're going to learn about the depth top. We might have looked at that a little bit, I think, in terms of lighting and shadows before. But kind of picking up right here with the little tilt shift situation, in general, this looks okay. Like with the radial thing, I think I liked it. But one thing we notice here, like we want things that are farther back to be more blurred, and then things closer to be sharper. Um, and here I can see where some of the little craggly peaks go up, they get blurred also, even though they might be closer to the camera. So for something like this kind of just simple linear ramp isn't really doing the effect that we want it to do. So there's another option. I want to find out how far away all this stuff is and then translate that into a black and white image that I can use for my Luma blur. So to do that, I get a depth top. And we need to tell it which operator to look at. So let's just look at render. And so we have to change some of the default settings here. So this ends up being, we kind of see a little bit of something here, but what we want is a 32-bit float image and depth space. So you kind of, okay, we're almost kind of seeing what's going to happen here. Input, camera space, like, I want to rearrange this from the camera space. And let me put that back to like 1. So what this means is range from. This is the units of distance from the camera. And so this is going to be mapped to a value of 0 to 1, like pixels, 0 being black and 1 being white. Okay, this camera range from, so if things are right up to the camera, that's basically a distance of 0. So I want to say 0. And then with my little scene here, I want to kind of figure out how far away from the camera is this thing farthest back there. And if I look back at my grid, because I made that dimension 20 units long. And the center's at -6, so what does that mean? So it's like -6, so it's another 10 after that. So that should be at like -16 right there. And I think my camera is at +5, so that should be about 21 units away from the camera position to this farthest back point right there. So that's what I use for my range from. So let's just say 20, whatever. Okay, so look at that. That's pretty good. So anything that is right up next to the camera, it's going to be, actually this is not just black, but it's also controls the alpha channel. So it's just 0000 RGBA. Anything that is 20 units away will be white. And we could see this beautiful gradation here. And I'm going to use that. Usually kind of hook this up to a level. And we can play with this some more. Actually, you know what? Maybe I want to... Or no, let's do RGB keys, maybe what I want to do for this. Because I just want to kind of get rid of that alpha channel to make it kind of see this a little bit better. Okay, that's kind of nice. And then, yeah, maybe a level in case I want to tweak this a little bit more, right? A little gamma. Okay, cool. I'm fine with that. Okay, so let's just get rid of this ramp. What if we plug this in? Okay, so I'm starting to see, okay. I don't love that. Let's do this. I want to make this a lot darker in the front, actually. Something like that. That looks kind of wild, actually, but it does have a little bit of that, the sharp points are kind of making its way through. So there's some tweaking to do with that, but this is the general principle of using depth rearranged from camera space to create a black and white image. Use that for Luma Blur. So that's other example over here. Also kind of reinforcing our instancing stuff. So I've got Chops instancing a little box, which is hiding there somewhere. Okay, it's there somewhere, trust me. And let's look at this in geometry. There we go, beautiful. So this is creating kind of a beautiful system here. There's my camera. So what I did when I was planning the translate, so I got just noise doing this, and I wanted the z-axis to be a lot higher amplitude than the x and the y, because I really wanted that depth to be accentuated, to have like really far distance from the camera and really close. So I used different noises here, and I think for the z I used amplitude of 10, whereas for x and y it's just amplitude of 3. And in this case, here's the rotation. I'm just merging all of it, going into a null. And instead of doing separate operators, I'm just using default. So null one is also, it's got like all the information I need. So I don't need to type individual operators there. I can just grab the channels. Okay, so doing the same thing. Okay, here we see the render, and I've already set up this depth top here, and I kind of calculated, from this stuff here, from the camera position to all the way back here, it's about 8 units, give or take. So I range this 0 to 8, 0 to 1. So now we see it's kind of differentiated. Closer ones are black. Further ones back there are white. And then that goes into Luma Blur, so we get this sort of a thing. I don't love, right? So this does create a kind of halo-y effect, which I don't like. And it really takes a lot more tweaking to get rid of it. And generally speaking, I think that this is working really well. Because I think I had not so dramatic, right? So back there, it's just blurred a little bit more, 5 or 6, something like that. So the other things are just lighting tricks. So I've got some light right here that's kind of using a cone light. Right, so this is how I'm getting kind of like darkness around the edges. And then also in my camera, I have some fog set up with this color. Also, fog far also kind of roughly determined according to how far those farthest boxes go in the back. But I'm doing a extra little clever thing. So the background here, I've just got like a noise with a very high period, Perlin noise, ramp lookup to create this kind of colored background. And I created a rim light, or 2 rim lights, and these colors are changing depending on, I mean, right now the color is like the same, but like, let's do something different here. Okay, that's at least a little bit different. So this is kind of good. So left side is kind of bluish, right side is purplish. I'm doing 2 different crops. So this one's cropping just the left half, this one's cropping the right half, and then getting an analyze, which averages. So it like takes this and reduces it down to a single pixel. Top to chop to get RGB values for that, and then sending these values over to the rim colors. So, and then kind of tweaking that rim center. So this one trying to make it look like it's coming from this side, the other one the other side, just to kind of add a little extra little lighting that's seems like it's almost bouncing off of the background a little bit. And then also using, so instead of cropping it, just using the entire background here, analyzing that again, and that becomes my fog color. So let's do actually a little bit. Okay, that's kind of cool. All right, cool.